Hey, welcome back to the channel, Mama Bear's Homestead and More. Today is a very exciting day, or morning. You usually don't see me up at this hour, but we're going to get to play with some bees. We're going to move the bees from that bee trap nook to our actual hive that you got to see me build. So I have my bee mentor, Mr. Brett Cunningham. I don't know why I have so much trouble with that, but yeah.
You are often Brent, and I have to say, it's not Brent, it's Brett.
I've heard much, so it's all good.
But he's not great enough to come out this morning and help us transfer these bees over and give us our first bee class.
Now, when did you guys initially see these bees move in? Do you remember how many days ago that was?
Oh goodness, it's been what, about a week now? Has it been a full week?
Maybe might be 9.
I just couldn't remember how long that they were in there because that was the same time that these bees were caught.
Yeah. Did you get these at Camp Fruits?
I did not.
Oh,
these
okay.
are one of my a tree line. This is actually the 4th swarm I've caught from this tree line.
Oh, really?
It's just north of the refuge.
Okay.
So the bees that have come from there have been really good.
Awesome.
So they're good producers. Not always the friendliest when you first get into them, because sometimes they've never seen people, and but that's not a bad thing.
That's so cool.
So,
Mom, I'm gonna ask for his assistance when you zip me up. I didn't know what door to leave open.
it's all good. Since it's a small colony, it's new. What we'll want to do is leave that introducer on there just the way it is. So this would be for winter.
Okay.
Where it's just very little room in and out. I usually this time of year on an existing colony, I won't have anything on there. But since it's a small colony, it's less for them to protect.
Okay.
Less for them to protect. They can be working doing other things. So we'll go ahead and leave that on there.
So cool.
That he don't ever use it.
I will early in the year. Once they get going, though, you typically don't need to. So what we're going to do then, we pulled out these 4 frames. We know we're almost guaranteed we're going to be putting at least 3 of these frames into here. Okay. Hopefully they're not pulled out on the other 2 frames yet. And I'm also, if you'll hand me my smoker, I don't smoke them a whole lot. Some swarms I won't smoke at all, but since these have been in here for a little more than a week, I just give them just a little smoke. But we want to make sure we're setting them in there the exact same way that they've been working. So that's why the entrance is right there. I'm going to pull these frames out and we'll just drop them in there. So. They're a little feisty. Double comb. Wow.
How cool is that?
That's not the ideal situation because we've got to be able to do something with that comb now. So that's really weird how they started building. Typically don't see this, but there's the comb that they were caught with, but it's like they're not taken to it at all. They wanted to come over here and start their own. And that's just, I've never had that happen. I'm gonna take that out. Because we don't know where she is. Let me think about this. But we want to make sure that she's not in here at all. So we will. Probably have to improvise here. This frame. I'm not sure.
Hi, bee friend.
What do you think, Papa Bear?
This is so wild. How many bees are around us?
Lots.
Is this 5,000 bees? 10,000, Brett?
No, this is a smaller swarm. I'm gonna say we're probably in the 3,000 to 4,000 range.
Okay.
Definitely not a huge colony.
Wow. Gosh, I just don't know.
My fear is she's in there. The only bad thing is, if I shake these bees out, Natalie, you probably don't want to be standing here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shake the bees to try to get them off there, because again, we don't know if the queen's in there or if she's in there. But then we're gonna try to work on this comb and see if we can use this comb. We may not be able to. Because this new comb is so fragile. You see how I had this in here with the rubber bands?
Right.
That's old comb. This new comb, I don't know that we're going to be able to do that. We want to make sure that she's not in there. So I'm just going to smack this. So, see these bigger ones?
Yeah.
Those are the drones.
Okay.
That's not your queen. Your queen looks distinctively different.
And that cone is made up of pollen?
Nectar.
Nectar. Okay.
Yes. That's what where your wax comes from. So my thing is making sure she's not on here. Shaking in the box. Yeah, we're not going to be able to save it. It's unfortunate because you just lose good resources. You know, I mean, luckily there's not a whole lot of honey or anything in there.
Okay.
And we'll leave this out to the side and let them kind of scavenge on it.
So that's not a total loss.
No, it's certainly not. Like I said, it's just unfortunate, and I'm probably going to have you get a feeder for them.
Yeah.
At this point, because see, look how there's two different wads here. So there's one there and one there.
Yeah.
My guess is the queen is in one of those. She wasn't there.
We're looking for a big old fat.
She's likely going to.
Run down.
If she's not, yeah, she's already running down in there. And so, you see, that's what they're doing. They're going down in there. So, without a doubt, she's in there. So.
Now, will we feed them like sugar water, like hummingbirds?
1-to-1 is what we'll want to feed them right now, because that is more nectar-like, and so that see how the distance is.
Yeah.
You want them the same. You want it to be thinner, because that promotes wax building. New colonies. That's the most important part, is getting the new wax on the frames, and that way that she can start laying. They can start putting in the resources. So once they get that that base for everything, then they can really take off. And swarms are really good at building comb. They come equipped to do that. That's what they're programmed for. So I don't feed bees other than in their first year. So this swarm, I'd encourage you to feed this year, possibly into the winter, and then coming out of next winter, they should be able to fend for themselves. So yeah, they're fanning, which is just basically saying that she's in there sending off the pheromones to these other bees. Which this is already, they've been here for 2 days. Yeah. So they're already, I mean, these bees are familiar to this area now. It's not like they're confused.
Don't take them as long as...
Right. Versus if we would have did this yesterday, or the first time, they might have reacted a little bit different. But these bees are, for getting into some swarms, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't want to do this without a suit. I mean, we would have been taking a number of stings, but they're settling down pretty quick. You can see they're all, flying around, but they're not really hitting the veil. That's when they're really here. They're just trying to see what's going on and keeping them. I think I've told you, they can recognize facial features for days. So they'll recognize you.
Bees can recognize a human's face?
Yes.
That is wild.
I think the claim is up to about 4 days. So,
wow.
So yeah, when you're out working in here and they see you, they recognize you.
That is so
not a big
cool.
deal. Now you come over here, it's kind of has a catch-22. If you come over here and you disrupt their frames and their hive,
and
they
honey, get ticked off at you,
and come back over a little bit later and want to sit there and watch them, somebody may come out and sting you because they remember what you did to them just a little bit sooner.
Wow.
So at this point, you are ready to go. Like I said, make sure you've got the equal distance. That helps them fight pests like small hive beetles, but also allows them to work on the frames evenly. And then you can use a top feeder. That is you say you already have a feeder?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I think you can use this as a top feeder as well. And then you could use another box. You just set the box on top of here and there's just a jar that sits in there. Or you can use an entrance feeder. Since you really don't have any competition with other colonies around here, an entrance feeder shouldn't be an issue at all.
Is that something we could just get from like Rural King or something?
Not right now. All those I checked them out. Yeah, they don't
order
have
online.
Like that. Yeah, unfortunately, I would say order online. So you just want to make sure everything's lined up. You really you don't want it to be sloppy, because the bees will make up for your sloppiness or our sloppiness. Trust me, I've found out the hard way sometimes. And they're going to build and they're going to do whatever they want to do. So trying to get everything on straight, keep it in straight, just allows for a better experience every time getting in and out. Make sure your cover's on.
So I don't even need a super yet?
No, no. All right. Like I said, this year we'll watch it. Ideally, you'll get, we'll start feeding them, and then hopefully within maybe 3 or 4 weeks, if they're really strong, they'll be. We maybe can add another deep and getting them building on that. If they don't build it out quick enough, you don't have to have. They don't have to winter with 2 deeps on. I overwintered quite a few of my swarms from last year with just single deeps, and they come out on fire this year. So it's you don't want to give them too much room to heat that they don't need, and so you don't want to force your bees to grow faster than what they actually are.
Okay.
So I will.
You stay here.
They'll find their way. So yeah, they'll get it all figured out pretty quick.
Okay.
There are the foundations in there.
Okay.
So it allows this box to maybe catch some bigger swarms.
Okay.
Because it gives the impression, because when they're searching this out, if you remember that big swarm that you guys had in your tree.
Yeah.
The only thing I can imagine is they saw themselves outgrowing this box too quick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a one size fits all. It's a great size for catching swarms.
Okay.
But you know, I've it's not the first time I've had boxes just busy. Never had a swarm hanging within, you know, a couple 100 feet and not go in. But ultimately, they decided that it likely wasn't big enough for them, and you know, it's a decent sized swarm. So
it was, yeah, it was. That was
I've seen,
impressive.
what I catch, that would have been certainly one of the biggest, you know, and so that's, you know, like around our farm, we'll have different size swarm boxes, just
Okay.
because when our big, you know, when you have a big hive that gets away from you and it wants to swarm, you still want to make sure you can catch it.
Right.
And we have found out that, you know, the smaller boxes just don't do it. But if you go any smaller than that, you really cut down on what you catch, and the smaller swarm you catch, the more you kind of have to babysit, especially in the first year. So that's that in a nutshell.
Hey, the door's down there, guys.
Yeah, they'll get it all figured out.
Yeah, you got a little clump on the back of your bee hat.
Do I?
Yeah.
They're good at that. All right. So typically, one thing you have to be concerned about normally in a hive, are there's bees that can't fly. Your nurse bees, the ones that take care of your brood, your young bees, they can't fly. Nothing's been born here yet, so all of these bees flew in. So I can take these and I can check them out over on the ground, and they'll find their way back, no problem. If you do that with on a regular hive, I mean, you're pretty much killing bees, you know, at that point.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to crawl their way back over here. So this instance, like I said, it's not that big a deal. These are travelers, you know. So they will find their way, and by the end of the day, now they're starting to use the entrance a little bit. Already doing some housekeeping. That little piece of combs you seen just pulled out.
Yeah.
You know, it had fallen to the bottom. It's worthless. So, you know,
Throwing
they're
it out.
just immediately getting it out of the hive. So they're going to work. So
These are so wild.
exciting, very exciting. I think you'll
And
You'll
just
find-
the fact that this is here,
Mhm.
and my pumpkin field's gonna be right under the
Oh,
field,
yeah.
that's gonna be a game changer.
Oh yeah, yep. And one thing, pumpkins aren't ideal for for bees to work, but what makes it ideal for pumpkin farmers is that it comes at a time they're blooming when you're starting to go into that dearth period, when there's no there's just not a lot available. So they're going to work it a little bit harder, and they will work those pumpkins.
Okay.
And there's no doubt it works. You know,
Awesome.
I mean,
Awesome.
you very seldom see bigger profitable pumpkin farms that don't have some
Right.
hives
Yes.
along the outskirts.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, I'll help you guys out here for the next couple months, and we'll get into it and see how it's growing, make sure that there's no issues. And
Well, that makes, I mean, I know that cone wasn't where you wanted it, but that makes me feel real good that that's a big cone.
oh
Piece of
yeah,
cone,
yeah,
right?
they had, and that's the unfortunate part, is that
Right,
that
where it's not
is
usable.
wasted. But
Right.
and again, that's why I do recommend feeding in the
Feeding,
first year,
yeah.
just because I don't promote it after that, because I want bees that'll forage. I want bees
Okay.
that they'll go find what, because you know, I want the honey from a natural standpoint. You know,
Right.
I want them to forage and get these pollens. I don't want, you know, sugar water
Yeah.
and or anything like that. So
And we're still okay to get over here and plant flowers.
oh
and
yeah,
stuff, right?
like I said, once after today, especially a day or two, you'll be able to work around them.
Okay.
There's really no issue. I weed eated around 8 hives this morning.
Yeah.
Only one of them came out and even really, got in my face at all. So most of the time they'll do their thing. And as I said, they recognize you all as you work around here. So it's just part of the family now.
Yeah, we're just
So it's like your rabbits getting excited and the pigs getting excited when they come see you. As long as you're not over here kicking the box or disrupting.
no, I ain't gonna be kicking no boxes.
Yeah.
My bees.
So there you go.
That's so awesome.
Good luck naming them all.
I got a friend here. You got a friend.
She's married to be
That's Sue Ann.
Sue Ann.
Yeah.
Your house is over there.
Well, she can hang out on my arm if she wants. Or he. Are there female bees, or is it just the queen that's female?
No, the everything you're seeing is female.
Really?
The only thing that's male are the big ones, the drones that I pointed out. And it's kind of funny. Here's the drone's life is the queen will lay a special egg just for drones, and their sole purpose is to hang out in the hive, get taken care of by the ladies, get fed. They get to go out, hang out in these little breeding zones, and they just get to hang out looking to make queens. They do this all summer long and just taken care of by the ladies. The unfortunate part is the ladies are a little smarter, and they know that going into winter they're not going to have as much resources, and that's just an extra mouth to feed. So they'll kick the males out, the drones out, and so that'll be the end of the drones. So while they have a good life, it's going to be a short one.
It's short.
It's pretty wild, isn't it?
Bees. Well, guys, we got the bees out of the nook, put in the hive. The new comb that they built kind of was a great big comb, but not usable. So that kind of stinks, but what are you going to do? Go on. But he said everything that looked good. We never actually seen the queen, but he's 100% sure she's in there. So,
and we'll come back. I'll check them out next weekend.
Okay.
A week or two. We'll get into them just a little bit here and investigate and see how things are going. And I think they've already settled down. They're already at home, going back to work.
Awesome. So yeah, I can't thank this guy enough. 'Cause he's the bee's knees. I appreciate everything. Right?
Not a problem. Not a problem. Glad to help. It'll be fun.
As always, you got friends, family, whoever you are, keep on keeping on.